Hi friends, I'm Les Mood, your host. Welcome to the Destination for Innovation series brought to you by the City of Bakersfield and Green Tech Network. Today we have a special guest with us, Brian Miller. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, thanks Les. Glad to be here.
You know, Brian, I'm curious if you have something you could share with us, maybe a little bit about yourself and then something your associates or the world doesn't know about you.
Well, I'll tell you something that most people don't know is that I was born in another country. So I was actually born in England. Both my parents were in the Air Force, and so lived there for the first 2 years of my life, but moved to Bakersfield after that. And consider myself a Bakersfield native. Went to Bakersfield schools, Castle Elementary, Actus Junior High, West High School, Bakersfield College, and CSUB. So very proud of living here, and definitely a Bakersfield believer.
Absolutely. So, you know, I think you mentioned the work you're doing now, you've been doing for about 13 years. I'm curious where you would pinpoint that journey beginning that you could share.
Yeah, so about 13 years ago, I transitioned. I was a special education teacher in the high school district for about 11 years. And my first administrative job was actually out at the Regional Occupational Center. And to be honest, I didn't really know much about the school at the time. I didn't know much about career technical education. And I went out there as the Dean of Students, and I just absolutely fell in love with the model. Being in an environment where you've got students from all over the community that are in a classroom that's a career-driven curriculum, very hands-on in nature. And it was just an amazing place to be, and was very fortunate to kind of grow my administrative career through the ROC and now CTEC as well, and really kind of be a part of the journey of our expansion and to what we have today.
You know, speaking of today, what are you doing these days to make the world a better place?
Yeah, so I'm the principal at both the ROC and the CTEC campus here. We are the career training facilities for the Kern High School District. So we serve over 2,500 juniors and seniors from all around the district, greater Bakersfield area, including Arvin, Shafter, and even Lake Isabella this year as well. So they come to us for a 3-hour-a-day training program for the full length of the school year. It's about half their school day in either the morning, the afternoon, or an evening session. And students are here to kind of get focused on their future. And we really try to get them prepared for the workforce and also to continue their journey into post-secondary education.
Really amazing. You know, I'm curious, in all the time that you've had in this industry and in the community, if you could share a struggle or some struggles maybe that you witnessed and some triumphs that you could share that others might be able to learn from.
So I think a struggle early on, and it still at times is a struggle, is just the perception by some about career technical education. And I know when I was starting out, it was kind of thought of as an educational opportunity for those students, for the other students, not something for everyone. It was thought of as school for kids that don't want to go to college, which is absolutely not the case. And so we've worked really hard over the last 13 years to kind of change that mindset in people. And really when they come to the schools and they see what the students are learning and they hear about our mission and they really learn what we're trying to do, which is really to set them up to continue their education and move up the career ladder, it really does start to change that mindset. So we've come a long way with that, but that definitely was a challenge to get people to understand that this is something for every single student in high school.
Yeah. Speaking of maybe the students or the community or industry in general, do you have some advice that you'd like to share?
Yeah, well, for the community, especially for parents and the younger students, I would strongly recommend taking a look at this as a part of your high school career. You know, every year we get students in here, and throughout the year you really see those dots starting to connect. They're in a classroom with a teacher who comes from that industry, who brings those experiences into the classroom. They bring their network of people into the classroom. They're able to provide educational opportunities that are hands-on in nature, that are really geared towards that industry, and students love it. And they really start to shape a vision of their future, and so which is extremely important, because they're at a pivotal point in their life where they're getting ready to transition into adulthood, graduate high school, and it's really important that they have a plan. And I think we really do a good job of helping them formulate that if they didn't already have that while they're here with us. So that's kind of some advice I'd give to people in the community to take a look at that. And then to our industry partners, we work with a lot of great partners. Last year, we have a very robust internship program, and we sent over 800 students out into the community to internships at nearly 200 different businesses. So we're very strong in that regards. But I would encourage any business who's really interested in being a part of workforce development to get in touch with us, because it's a great opportunity to take a look at what the future workforce looks like and play a role in that as well, because you can provide internships, you can come in and talk to kids about careers in your company. All those things really do make a difference in developing our workforce.
Yeah, speaking of developing the workforce and the future, this next part of the series or interview is more of a thought experiment, really, to say, hey, let's cast away all of the doubts and inhibitions or roadblocks that we know may be there, and imagine what the possibilities are. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first question is, what is some low-hanging fruit that people, folks in the community, can bite into to make and advance a better world?
All right. So I think the low-hanging fruit in the community is the opportunity that we have here at ROC and CTEC. We have worked the last 7 years to really scale up, and we are at a point now where we have built up what we have. We have a good operation here, and so we are ready for businesses to come in and start working with us to connect kids to their organization, and we're ready to do that. We can adapt very quickly to what the needs are of the businesses, and I like to say we're able to keep up with the pace that they are working at as well. So I really think we're ready to do that. We are doing that, but we need more partners, because this is an opportunity that we need to provide for more kids, and we need more business partners as well.
Well, it's really neat that you are plug and play and ready for new partners. I'm curious, in maybe the community of the world, what are some of the bigger challenges that we face that we shouldn't ignore, that we should bite into?
Well, I think some of the bigger challenges that we face, I think when I'm looking at education as a whole right now, we've got to find ways to engage our kids in the classroom. I think that is a real challenge right here. Our generation of students, they learn differently than they have in the past. And unfortunately, our education model as a whole is very similar to the way that it's been for a very long time. So we need to find ways to get kids connected to their education. They need to understand the why. And that's why I really think career technical education does a great job at that, because it's very hands-on in nature, but it's also an educational model where the students oftentimes can see that connection. I'm learning this so that in the future I can do that. They don't always make that connection in a regular traditional classroom setting. So I think that's a real challenge from an educational standpoint that we've got to solve as educators.
As educators in general in advancing innovation and a better world, what role do you see from your experience that community plays?
They have to be involved. Education can't do it alone. We have to have good partnerships, particularly with businesses, with community support. Education cannot do everything by themselves. It has to be a partnership. And that's where I've seen the most successes. When we have strong partnerships with companies and we're really getting together to do things, that's where we find the biggest bang for our buck. That's where we find the wins.
So at the end of your career, when you're looking back, what would you like your legacy to look like when you look back? What would you like to see have accomplished?
When I look back on my career, what I would like to see is I would like to see some examples of some really strong partnerships, and I'd like to see it be just the way that we do business, is these partnerships between education and industry. And just that to be the norm, not just at ROC and CTEC and in career technical education, but the way that we do things in general. And I think we're kind of setting the stage and showing people why that's important in some of the things that we do here. But we've got to do that across the board, because we can't work in silos. We have to work together to be able to kind of move forward.
Absolutely. And then speaking of moving forward, whether we call it an energy transition, transformation, evolution, do you think it's possible for that to happen? And if so, how?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think, in our own community, we are going through an energy evolution and a change. And I feel like we are very well positioned, particularly in Kern County, to make that change happen and kind of be the leaders in that energy change. I think California is on the cutting edge of energy policy and everything that we do. And so I think that particularly in California, we've got a skilled workforce. We've got the big companies here. They want to change. They're going to change with the policies in California as well. And I think we're very well positioned here to be the leaders of that change.
And speaking of being leaders of change and innovation in general, we're here thanks to the City of Bakersfield on the Destination for Innovation. I'm curious, from your view, why Bakersfield is the destination for innovation from your experience?
Bakersfield's got a lot of good things going for it. When I think the biggest reason is all of the partnerships here and the relationships here. People, you're a phone call away, and people show up for events. People are willing to help each other out. And I think that is the biggest thing that we have going for us here. And as long as we keep that momentum and keep working together, I think that we can have some really positive results.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, I appreciate everything you're doing. This is amazing. Thanks for showing us around. Look forward to talking with more of your staff and learning more and being more involved. So thank you for taking the time to be on the show, on the Destination for Innovation. And where can people find you? How can people be involved?
Yeah, so I think our best resource is our website, roc.kernhigh.org. We've got a great page with lots of information, every program on there, all of our contact information, lots of videos and stories about our students. So I'd say that's probably the best place to start.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Les.
Thank you for joining us on the Destination for Innovation. That is it for this episode, but make sure to connect, collaborate, and create with Mr. Miller, and we will see you soon.